Hello, my friend. I'm Aimee Esther, and I have multiple chronic illnesses. Last year, we purchased our second home, and as we were living in our first home, I realized that I did not think through so many things about living chronically ill in our home. It just didn't cross my mind. And then as we lived in the house, more and more things started adding up that were making me sick and making it harder for me to live my day to day. And so we decided to move. That house could have worked for longer. We could have had room to grow our family. It would have been just fine, except that there were just so many little things that were not working for me and my illness. I wanted to share with you the tips and tricks on how to pick a house when you live chronically ill. Things to think about when you are house hunting, or maybe you're looking for a rental, but things you might want to consider if you live chronically ill and you're looking to buy a house. Okay, number one is location. Now, there's lots of things to think about with location, of course, but when we're talking about chronic illness, there are some things to think about that I never really thought about. And one is being close to a hospital, an urgent care, an ER. We are down the street from an ER. It's a pretty small one, but it works. And we've already been there before. Twice, actually, I've been to that ER in the last year. And it's nice that it's so close. And there's also an urgent care right next door. So if we're not needing something in the emergency room category or in the middle of the night, but we need something quick and easy, we can run to urgent care for any needs we have, as well as being close to my primary care doctor, the doctors that I see most often. I want to be close to them because I'm driving there a lot. Other things to consider is maybe the grocery store. It's nice to be close to a grocery store because sometimes I do need maybe a supplement right away that I ran out of, or a medication that I ran out of really quickly, or I might just need food. Having fresh fruits and vegetables nearby, really nice for me as someone who lives chronically ill. So there's a few things you might want to look at when it comes to location. Of course, there's maybe you want to be close to family or people who are often helping you, things like that. Make sure you notice where the location is with your chronic illness and the places that you go the most. And as well as location is the environment. So this could be the actual location you are. Are you in an area that's too hot and you have heat intolerance? Are you in an area that's too cold and you have cold intolerance? Are you in an area that fluctuates a lot and you struggle when the weather fluctuates? Are you in a humid place and you need to move somewhere drier, or vice versa? Figure out the environment of the location you're living as well. So if you're not going to move somewhere that has the temperature you need, then make sure the inside has that. Look at the HVAC system and make sure it has what you need, or it's easy to replace or fix or change so that you can. In our old house, we had a swamp cooler, which was not good because it was only cool right under the swamp cooler, as well as it brought all the allergens into our home. But that's another thing to look at. Are you living in an area that is a high allergen place? Then maybe you need to add a filtration system to your HVAC system, or maybe you need to buy some air purifiers. I can link my favorite down below, but maybe you need to buy those in order to live there. But it's something to take into consideration, because would it be better to move somewhere where there's not as high of allergens in that area if that's something you are really sensitive to? Okay, next is the layout of the house. This is something I didn't even think about with my first home. It was a split entry house, meaning you walk in the front door and there's immediately stairs. You either go upstairs or downstairs. And that was the only way to get in the house. There was a back door that had stairs, or you could go to the front door and go in the split level. And that was how I had to get in my house every day, is stairs, stairs, stairs. So many stairs. I was always going up and down stairs. So this house, I said, I want all of the main areas of the house on one level. I can do a basement, even laundry in the basement. That's okay with me, which we do have here. But I need my bedroom, the kids' rooms, and my living room, kitchen area all on one level. So in order to find what's best for you, think about your normal routine. What are the things you do every day that you need to have for your home? I'd probably recommend the less stairs the better to anyone who lives chronically ill, but of course, It's up to you. Everybody's different. The next thing you probably want to have in your home, or at least something to consider when you're looking for a home, is a garage. This is something we didn't have in our previous home, and it was so obnoxious because it was so much work to scrape off my car if it snowed. It was so hot in my car if I left it out in the sun in the summer, and it just was hard to regulate the temperature of my car because it was sitting outside all the time. So that helped a ton when we got a garage in this house where I could have a car that was a regulated temperature. If it snows, I don't have to worry about scraping off my car before I leave. It just makes it so much easier. The next thing to think about is the yard. How much maintenance is the yard going to be? Is there a big garden that you're going to need to tend to? Or are you going to let that part die? Are you okay with letting it die? Is there a big yard that needs to be mowed? Or would you prefer a house has a rock garden? Or would you prefer a townhouse where you have an HOA or things like that that will help you maintain your lawn and maintain the outside of your house? Those types of things can be really important. If I didn't have my husband, I would need to be in some kind of townhouse that dealt with the outside of my house because I would not be able to do that on my own. I don't do well going outside. Or maybe there's a pool in the yard. Remember, you're going to have to take care of that. Do you have the energy to do that? If so, do not buy a house that has a pool or a hot tub or extra things that are going to take some time. And then the last thing I want you to think about when you are house hunting is what would make your life easier? Is there something about the way you're living that could be easier? So maybe you really want a playroom for your kids because you can put all their toys in one space. Is it having wider doorways? Is it having hard floors versus carpets? What types of things would make your life easier? Think about that when it comes to your chronic illness. So look at the location, the layout, the yard maintenance, the environment, the HVAC system, the garage, all of those things, and decide what is going to make your life easier. Because sometimes you might want to pay a little extra for a home that makes your life significantly easier than getting a cheaper home that gives you more pain, that has more stairs, that makes life harder. Like, let's pay a little bit extra, or let's buy a home or wait to buy a home until we can afford the perfect home for us, because it can be so hard when you live chronically ill and you're trying to navigate a house that isn't suited for someone who lives like this. So hopefully that was helpful for you. If you are in the market for a home, let me know and tell me how it's going. I'm not sure how the market is this year, but if it's anything like the past few years, it has been crazy out there. So I wish you luck on your journey, whether you're renting or buying or whatever you're doing in your life. I hope you find the perfect space for you. And I'll see you on my next video. Bye.